Okay, let's get straight into it. We got a lot of information to cover. The Dallas Cowboys have concluded the 2024 draft. You know, it's one of those trench warfare type draft, man. This is a vegetable over dessert type draft. This is the stuff that you need opposed to the wants. So I ain't mad at it. I was a little spoiled early on, but you know, I just had to get out of my feelings and look at the player for who they are. So let's get into it. Right now, I'm about to rank my favorite to least favorite of these draft picks. Now, first off, disclaimer, this doesn't mean the players are bad, but out of these 8 players, I will be ranking my favorite to least. So let's get into it. Okay, starting off with number 8, my least favorite pick out of the draft, Justin Rogers. Now, I know a lot of people probably like, yeah, LandLord said it's his worst because he went to Auburn. You know, that didn't help him, but just to be honest, he's a trash can full of dirt, man, standing at 6'3", 346 pounds. He transferred from Kentucky, then played at Auburn. But, you know, he isn't the biggest pass rush guy. He only had 3 sacks out of all 3 years that he's been in college. But when you look at him, you know, he's the prototypical trash can full of dirt, the immovable force. He does make some decent plays in the run game. He had a better year last year in 2022 in the run game, run defense, than he had last year. But I think he could be a potential, like, you know, one of those practice squad guys. He kind of puts you in the mind of Big Bo a little bit when you watch him on his tape at Kentucky. So, you know, I could see him being a depth type piece. You never know. Let's see what we do when we get him in camp and see if he can push some guys, because that defensive tackle position is pretty flimsy. It is pretty slim right now for the Cowboys. Okay, coming in at number 7, we got Big Nate Thomas, standing at 6'5", 334 pounds. Offensive tackle coming out of the Raging Cajuns in Louisiana. Okay, we know that he got a lot of athleticism, you know, super late round pick. So I already know the Cowboys looking for him as a depth piece, a swing tackle type vibe. You know, he might be somebody that can push Josh Ball, Matt Waletzko, some of these back end offensive linemen that we have not developed. You know, we got a reputation for developing all our O-line, but these guys don't seem to be developing. But, you know, that's a story for another day. But Big Nate Thomas, I do see some athleticism. I do see some potential. Got great prototypical size, you know, and it seemed like he got a decent amount of athleticism. He could be a gem that got pushed down with this phenomenal tackle class in 2024. It's probably a lot of hidden gems that just couldn't make it up the board because of how deep this position was. So he'll be coming in at number 7. I do see some depth potential in Nate Thomas. Coming at number 6 is Ryan Flor, coming out of Southeast Missouri State. You know, that's a straight out of the left field type pick. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't scout this kid. I was one of the people that didn't, but I did have to go look at him, and he's a 6'1" receiver, got a lot of athleticism. He's a rad score type guy, and he jumping out the gym. He got a 39-inch vertical, standing at 6'2", 4'4", 40. So, you know, when I looked at some of the clips and some of the highlights and, you know, some of the tape, I did see he got nice body control. He got strong hands. He looked like he going to snatch the ball out the sky, natural catch of the football. So those are all positives. You know, I put hands over everything when I evaluate receivers. And when I look at him, I do see somebody who can run some decent routes and, you know, some good body control in the air when it comes to 50-50 balls. Out of 2 years, he had 118 receptions, 1,823 yards, and 13 touchdowns. So, you know, he didn't have a whole lot to go off of when it comes to statistics, but I'm pretty sure this was a straight traits type pick right here. They got a lot of faith in what they see in the RAS score and the traits that he put out there on tape. So we'll just see what he do. It's a deep receiver room. It's super top heavy, but you know, we got a lot of random guys that's in the back end of this receiving roster. Who knows? He can come in and camp and wow some people and find his way on the football team. We'll have to see how that play out. Coming in at number 5, we got Keon Carson coming out of Wake Forest, DB, standing at 195 pounds now. What I do see out of Keon Carson, man, I do see a physical DB. I do see him coming in, being in the box. He very versatile. He got a lot of snaps slot. He got snap set, outside corner, and he playing in the box. A pretty sure tackler, but what I do like about him the most, he is very physical. He's a physical back. And one thing about it is crazy that I don't see a lot of interception production from him, but I do feel like he's comfortable in his scheme. He never panics with the ball in the air, and he always get his hands on the football. He don't panic with the ball in the air. I do feel like he will be a person that can get you some ball production, interceptions and stuff on the next level. It feels like he's natural. He do give me some vibes like Deron Bland when I evaluated him coming out of college. So I do like Keon Carson. I probably would have drafted somebody else at this position, but I do like the traits. Super upside guy. He can come in this DB room and compete. Now for my number 5 is probably a shocker to a lot of people, Mr. Tyler Guyton. Now, I'm not gonna act like Tyler Guyton is bad or he don't have a super ceiling, but for a player that's supposed to be starting right now, I'm not the highest on him, but he does have a lot of potential, a lot of ceiling. He's a super ceiling player. Standing at 6'7", 350-some pounds, like he is the prototypical tackle. He got all the size in the world, all the length in the world, but you know, he is still a work in progress. He's a ball of clay that you gotta mold into an offensive lineman. But if that happens, he do have a lot of potential. But I just wasn't super big on the pick. I wasn't that big of a fan of the pick at first because I knew I didn't look at him as a pro-ready guy day one, and that's what we needed at the left tackle position. But I do like Tyler Guyton. I do like the idea of him, but I just felt like we needed a more complete player right now if we in the sense of urgency to win now, basically in win now mode for 2024. Now coming in at number 3 would be Maran Nean, standing at 6'3", 275, so he got some good size. And, you know, I see him as one of those do-it-all lunch pail type guys, tough, physical. He gonna play through the whistle. He gonna play the run. He was predominantly brought here to stop the run. He's a culture-changing guy. His motor never stops. Super high effort guy. That's what I like about him. And who that sound like to you? It sounds like DeMarcus Lawrence. He sounds like a clone, a carbon copy of DeMarcus Lawrence. When I look at him on film, I just keep finding myself thinking about D-Law and how he comped to him so perfectly. But I do like Neal, and I do see him making people miss, shedding blockers and stuff like that, getting behind the line of scrimmage and making tackles, and very good at the run, and his hands are masterful. He's a tough, physical, violent hand type guy. So I like what I see from him already as a rookie. And you know, none of these players are finished products, so when they get in the league, you gonna fix them a little bit. They're gonna get better with the off-season program, with the NFL level coaching. So it's a lot of stuff that can make him even better. But I do like the player. I do know we need some run defense, and we've been lacking in that area. We pretty slim at the defensive tackle position, so maybe a player like this can have some position flex going inside and outside, and that'll help us a lot when it comes to being able to stop the run in 2024. Now coming in at number 2 is my guy, the linebacker out of Notre Dame, Maurice Hurst, standing at 6'2", 239. He ran a 4.6 40, but I promise you, if you look at the tape, he seems like he's way faster than that, way more instinctive than that. He put me in the mind of Sean Lee when it comes to his instincts. A lot of people compare him to Fred Warner, and I can see that. He got the instincts, he got the athleticism, but we'll just have to see if it translates to the NFL level. But he does come down here. He's a thumper. He's gonna hit you. He's gonna leave paint on his helmet. He got a lot of intensity what he play with. This player right here really just had me going when I seen him on the tape. I was excited about what he can bring to the Cowboys. Feel like he could play all 3 linebacker spots, Mike, Will, and the strong side. I could just see him being all over the field, making plays, being athletic. When he played up against Caleb Williams, I seen him causing a lot of problems, forced the interception. He did a lot of good things that I could see, and he's filling the gaps. But one thing, sometimes it feel like he's just a big impact tackler, like he's gonna hit you, but sometimes he don't wrap up. So that'll be something that he might need to work on, or we'll train him up to get the best out of him. But man, I pretty much love everything I see about Hurst. I feel like he could be a day one starter. He might sit Damone Clark on the bench. He better be looking out, because He's coming with a lot of intensity. These are all lunch pail, hard working, do your job, do it right the first time type guys. So it's going to be a lot of position battles in camp. I can't wait to see what happens with Maurice Hurst. Now, of course, my number one player out of this draft, the biggest player I was excited about the most when I went back and looked at the film was, of course, Koopa Bb, standing at 6'4", 335, man. At Kansas State, he played all over the line. He played all 5 positions, so he got that position flex. He actually played center, too. A lot of people didn't think he did, but he actually played center as well. So he's super versatile. He shouldn't have no problems coming in being our center. Long as he can snap the ball, I think he's going to be a monster, and he's going to add a lot of physicality to this draft and to our offensive line that we've been needing. He will be, I feel like maybe year 1, year 2, it might be a bold statement, but he could come in day 1 and be better than Tyler Biadasz. Like, that's no shot on him. He was a good kid. He came and gave us some decent years, but man, Koopa Bb might come in here and change this culture, be a big, nasty. I'm talking about blocking through the whistle, blocking multiple people. He's going to be phenomenal for the Cowboys, so that's why he's my number one player for us out of this draft. I feel like he was the biggest steal, biggest value. He really was the surprise and the steal of the draft, in my opinion, and I can't wait to see him paired up with those 3 maulers right there in the middle. Listen, it's going to be some destruction in the middle of our O-line. We got some of the biggest, baddest defensive linemen in our division. Look at the Washington line, look at the Giants line, look at the Eagles line. So we needed some interior bullies, and that's what we got. Tyler Smith, Koopa Bb right there, and then Zach Martin. You might have just assembled the best O-line in football, one of the best ones, but I know for a fact the interior of that line, they gonna be moving some people around. It's gonna be a lot of furniture moving, and they all play with the same type of physicality, tenacity, athletic. They gonna put some people on their backside. They gonna put some people in the dirt. I can't wait to see how that play out in 2024. Overall, like I said before, man, this was one of those not what you want, but what you need. You know, this was like your medicine type draft. You know, I was tired of being responsible, but I'm like, man, can we get some people that can add some weapons, some exciting picks? We needed an adrenaline shot far as the Dallas Cowboys went, especially with the lackluster free agency that we had. So I was in the mood like, man, we need somebody to come and galvanize this team, give us some hope back. But I can't lie, when I evaluate these players for what they are, I do like a lot of these players, and I do feel like this was a medicine draft. This was a trench warfare, trenches type draft. They got a lot of substance in this draft, and this is what we needed on the team. Not what I wanted, not the way I wanted. They didn't do it my way, but this is what we needed. So hopefully the Cowboys are going into a direction to help Dak Prescott on this offensive line and run the football. We didn't get a running back, but hopefully they moving in a direction where they run the football. So overall, now that I reevaluated everything, I probably give this draft maybe a solid B, not a B minus, not a B plus, just a straight B. And I would have gave it a higher grade, but I still feel like it was too many positions that we didn't fill, and that's a problem. That's not good. All the running backs passed again. We went 2 years straight without addressing the running back position, so that's not smart. But I do like the draft for the players that we got. Just not too much of a fan of the idea and the mentality that we went into it by. I feel like we could have attacked it in a different way and been more effective, but, you know, I do like the players. I give it a solid B for the Cowboys in 2024. But that's all I got for you today, man. Just holler at your boy, LandLord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.